Hello folks, it's Abe's Epoxy Sculpt time. I'm working on the Brakiri Cruiser here. What I don't have here, I thought I had, was 2 equal parts of Abe's Epoxy Sculpt. Oh boy, I just really blew that one. I got in the wrong jar. So, get some more part A out. You're supposed to take 2 equal parts. That probably equalized it. The part A and the part B, knead them together. Now I find it works best to keep your fingers wet while you're doing this. If I take 2 equal parts and knead them together, and this is far more than I can use before it cures up. That's the bad part. I'm never really good at estimating how much of this stuff to use. But we're kneading. And I know I covered a little bit of Abe's on the other build, the Deslox Command Cruiser. I also know that if you've been a loyal viewer, you've seen me use this stuff an awful lot. Okay? So this is old news to you loyal viewers. Okay? But I picked up about 150 viewers in the last 3 weeks. So I want to show all those new viewers some of this Abe's stuff without them digging through the past videos, but I suspect some of them have watched a lot of those past videos. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to portion off how much I want for my seam filling. Hello Thunderpaws. I have a new kitten and he's a little demanding at times. Sometimes. I just hope he doesn't jump up here while I'm doing this, because this stuff would not be good for kitten feet. So he starts coming this way, you're going to see me panicking, going, "Get away, get away!" I really don't want a kitten up here in the middle of my Abe's work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this out into a snake. Okay? Now, the reason I'm rolling it out to a snake is I'm going to work on these seams running along here right now. And I want to get them where they're very smooth and organic, because this is an organic type ship. So, I'm going to get my trusty X-Acto knife. The X-Acto knife set I've had since I was like 12. Yes, this is over 20 years, over 30 years old, this set of X-Acto knives. I even wrote my name on the bottom of them when I was a kid. Okay. Still work quite well. I cut off a piece. And what I'm going to do is take this little piece and roll it quite a bit thinner. Like that. Okay? Let's adjust the camera down a teeny bit and fix that so you guys can see it. It's pretty thin. And the reason I do that is so I don't get a huge amount of Abe's on my model, is I'm applying it to the surface. That way I can pretty much control the amount of Abe's. And if you're looking, you can see that fits right in that seam, and I'm using some water to help smooth it down. I'm going to add some more because that's not filling that seam up the way I want it. But I use water to help smooth the Abe's into the seams. Okay? I want to build up over that seam a little bit higher than what I've got there. But let's zoom in a bit so you can see the before and after on each side. There's the side with the Abe's, there's the side without. Alright? You can see there's a much larger gap on this side than this side. And all I did was smooth it in the joint. I'm going to hit it again because, like I said, I want that thicker than that. So I'm going to use a thicker snake this time. A much thicker snake. Getting it up there on my seam. Let's zoom that in a teeny bit so you guys can see it a little better. There we go. Now you can see that snake on there. And again, I like to do this with wet fingers. Now that's doing more along the lines of what I want it to do. That's conforming better to the surface of the model. And again, I'm not trying to make this seam go away. I'm trying to smooth the transition between the 2 parts so that it is more organic it kind of flows. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more up in here. But you guys get the idea what I'm doing with the Aves. I'm going to quit this video, come back when I'm done, and show you the end results of my seam work, so you can see what I've been doing with this. Alright? Because I'm not going to make you guys watch all this boring Aves work. Hello everyone, we're going to talk about the Brakiri Cruiser. Last segment you saw me applying some Aves. I'm going to show you what I have done. Okay? Aves is called epoxy sculpt because you can use water to soften it and mold it and shape it. Up here there was a really big gap. You can see I filled it in with the Aves. It's going to take another round, but I want to let the Aves cure up first. Okay? I want to let the Aves cure up. That's there. Sand it. And maybe even give it a light primer to see what's going on, or some silver paint I like to use. See if I missed any spots, some holes. I can see fingerprints in the Aves. If you remember right, where the wings joined the guns, there was a huge, horrible gap. Not anymore. I filled those with Aves completely. When they're cured, I'm going to do some sanding to get them smoothed out. Same thing with the wing joints. There's a lot of Aves in these wing joints, simply because they did not line up well at all. Well, they did, but they didn't. No matter what I did, it left gaps in there. Okay? So you can see that I've got the Aves work done on them as well. One side, this side, still has a noticeable change, whereas this side doesn't. That's molding in the mold itself. That's going to take some work to get the smooth out, and that's going to take another application of Aves, and I know it. But that's okay. I also put some Aves along the front up here, down here, and the same back here and here. I've done nothing down the center channel, primarily because I have not done a couple of things that need to be done to this kit before I'm done with my seam filling. Oh, I filled in the hole for the stand. I didn't like it, so I put some Aves in there and filled that up too. Okay, up next, sanding. Ooh, and I see some bad spots on this wing where I got some super glue on this wing. They're going to need to be sanded. This is not level. This is that big monster fin that attaches on the bottom of this thing. Will not attach properly until I get the two surfaces leveled. That's going to take a lot of filing because the gray surface is definitely above the white surface. Okay? Same thing's true on this end. The joints running down the center of the body. I found a photo of this model built up on the interwebs. And you know what? That person never sealed up those joints, and you can see it in their photo. Here, it'd be easier to see it from this end. The joint running down the center here, and here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a file that a bit, make it nice and smooth. Then I think I might try some CA seam filling and just put some CA down that joint and then file it flat again. Put some CA down that joint and file it flat again. We'll see, and then I'll take some sandpaper and hit it in there with some sandpaper to get it finally smooth. I can feel some spots where the epoxy squirted out that needs to be removed as well. That's where I stand on this. I got some major work done on it tonight. Again, it's going to take more. One of the fortunate things for me, though, is this is organic. The shapes are supposed to flow. There's no hard edge lines. That makes seam filling a lot easier because I can sculpt it instead of just, I gotta get it the seamed perfect for not to show. I can just smooth it. So, it's easier. This was much simpler than this was. I still need to do more work on this. This will probably hit next. But, I wanted to show you guys that with Aves you can actually sculpt some really bad joints, and you can see by the amount of Aves I got on that joint right there, that one was bad. Okay, you can see how much of it's going across there. I'll have to do a little bit more working on it, but we're off to a start. Back later. Hello everyone, this is a really quick short little video. Last time you saw the Brakiri Cruiser, I was putting Aves on her. I'm done with the, well, I'm not done with the Aves, I'm done with that round of Aves. And I did some detail sanding, and I want to show you guys the end results. Alright? So let's zoom her in a bit so we can see her a little bit more up close. and I can move her in a little bit. That works better usually with this camera. If you remember, there was a huge gap here. Now it's solid, and to the touch, it feels really good. Okay, back out where there's a little bit more light so you can see it better. And the same thing on this wing over here. It came out very, very well. In fact, I'm tempted to put primer on it and see how well it did. The wing roots, there were gaps on both of them. They are solid and continuous. I run my fingers across them. Fingernails don't catch on anything. I've almost got this completely leveled out in preparation for the big fins. Across the top here is the same. Across the back here is the same. Same thing down at the bottom here and here. Huge gap up across here. In fact, you can see how much Aves I put into that if I go in closer. I still have a little bit of a gap right here to fix. You can see that in the camera. But I fixed up almost that whole gap. This one was the good wing. You can't even feel the seam in there with your fingers anymore. There's a spot right here that needs to be fixed. This was a bad one, and I've almost got it matching the other side. I have a couple of wavy spots that need to be fixed out, but I'm going to do that with putty that's not Aves. But there's a little quick update. My next round of work on this, oh yeah, and I fixed the stand hole down here, and you can't even tell that, you can't even feel that that was there. My next round of updates on this, I'm going to use the Bondo spot putty instead of Aves to fill in these small little gaps and smooth everything out and finalize it. Well, there you go. Wanted to give you guys a short, quick update on where I'm at with the Brakiri.
We'll put them together tonight.
That model. Souvenirs. One, two.
Would you like to buy one of those? Two of them? Two of them. One for each of you.
I don't know.
Having twins.
No idea.
You want me to autograph the wing? Once you have this veteran, it's 12 people at a time.
We're on no flash. Shall we walk that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that barrel. Yeah. Staying busy this semester?
Oh, hell yeah.
What's it next semester?
Summer. Be loud up there. Ah, it's just
You have to pay.
I'll wait until. Yeah, there's a lot up there. One up there.
Well, this is pressurized.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yours was not.
They put
Well, there's Fifi. There were supposed to be two of them here. I guess the other one's flying, and they're telling me they need to fly pretty soon. So that's why they quit the cockpit tours. They're about to take off. Nice.